Grand Admiral Nexus stood at the command center of the Celestial Vanguard, his crystalline eyes reflecting the holographic display of Earth rotating before him. The planet's blue oceans and white clouds seemed deceptively peaceful, masking what his empire's intelligence suggested was a fractured, primitive civilization. His iridescent scales shifted colors with anticipation as he prepared to add another conquest to the Krylonian Empire's ever-expanding territory. Status report, Nexus commanded, his voice resonating through the bridge's neural amplifiers. Lieutenant Commander Vex approached, her biomechanical implants gleaming under the ship's ambient lighting. The planetary analysis is complete, Grand Admiral, Vex reported, her cybernetic interface projecting data streams into the air. The species calls themselves humans. Their technological development appears to be in early space exploration stages. No unified global government. Multiple nation-states in constant conflict. Perfect conditions for our standard conquest protocol. Nexus's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. The Krylonian Empire had conquered 32 star systems in the past millennium, and Earth seemed like it would be their easiest victory yet. Begin the preliminary scan for defensive capabilities, he ordered. Captain Meridian, the ship's tactical officer, stepped forward. Unlike most Krylonians, she had chosen to remain purely organic, believing it enhanced her strategic thinking. Sir, we're detecting unusual energy signatures scattered across the planet. They don't match any known weapon systems in our database. Irrelevant, Nexus dismissed. Primitive weapons are no match for our quantum phase shields. Prepare the first wave of psychological warfare protocols. The massive celestial vanguard moved into position, its kilometer-long hull casting a shadow over Earth's northern hemisphere. Smaller ships from the fleet took strategic positions around the planet, their presence deliberately visible to Earth's primitive detection systems. In accordance with standard invasion procedure, Nexus authorized the global broadcast. His image would be projected across every electronic device on Earth, a show of force that had broken the will of countless civilizations before. People of Earth, his voice boomed across the planet's communication networks, I am Grand Admiral Nexus of the Krylonian Empire. Your world now stands at the threshold of a new era. Submit to our authority, and you shall be granted the privilege of serving the greatest civilization in the known galaxy. The response was not what he expected. Instead of panic or immediate surrender, Earth's communications remained eerily silent. Then, a single transmission cut through their broadcast, originating from somewhere in the planet's northern hemisphere. Admiral Eleanor Blackwood's weathered face appeared on the main view screen, her expression unnervingly calm. This is Earth Unified Defense Command to the alien vessel. We've been expecting you. Nexus felt his scales ripple with irritation. You dare to dash. His words were cut short as the ship's warning systems screamed to life. Captain Meridian's voice carried an edge of disbelief. Multiple launches detected. But these aren't missiles. They're. I've never seen anything like this. Streams of light erupted from hidden facilities across Earth's surface, but they weren't energy weapons. They were something far more devastating. Swarms of self-replicating nanite clusters, developed from decades of reverse-engineered alien technology, tore through the Krylonian fleet's quantum phase shields as if they were paper. Impossible. Nexus roared as his flagship systems began failing one by one. Their technology level, this cannot be. Admiral Blackwood's image reappeared, this time with a hint of steel in her voice. For centuries, we've fought among ourselves, pushing the boundaries of warfare and defense. When we discovered we weren't alone in the universe, we didn't stop. We adapted. Every crashed alien ship, every piece of recovered technology, every failed invasion attempt, they all taught us something. We learned, we evolved, and we prepared. The celestial vanguard shuddered as another wave of nanites breached its hull. Emergency containment fields flickered and died. Through the chaos, Blackwood continued, you saw what we wanted you to see, a divided, primitive world. What you failed to see was that our conflicts drove our innovation. Our wars forced us to advance faster than any peaceful civilization could imagine. Lieutenant Commander Vex's voice shook as she reported, "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures emerging from Earth's oceans. They're revealing orbital defense platforms. Thousands of them, completely invisible to our scans until now." Nexus watched in horror as Earth's true defensive grid emerged from its perfect camouflage. The planet's seemingly primitive satellite network transformed, revealing itself as an interconnected web of advanced weapon systems. "You have 30 minutes to retreat," Admiral Blackwood stated flatly. "This is your only warning. We've dealt with would-be conquerors before. None of them required a second demonstration." As his mighty fleet began crumbling around him, Grand Admiral Nexus finally understood. They hadn't discovered a primitive civilization, they'd awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity hadn't developed in spite of its violent history, it had evolved because of it. Every conflict, every war, every battle had forged them into something unprecedented in the galaxy, a species that had mastered the art of warfare before reaching for the stars. The retreat order was given, but Nexus knew this was more than a failed invasion. This was the day the Krylonian Empire discovered that some worlds weren't meant to be conquered. Some species weren't prey but predators in disguise, waiting patiently for the perfect moment to reveal their true nature. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, Colonel Marcus Thorne watched the holographic display of the retreating Krylonian vessels with grim satisfaction. The vast underground command center, known as Project Phoenix, hummed with activity as personnel monitored Earth's defensive systems. "Status report on the nanite swarms," he commanded, his cybernetic eye scanning multiple data streams simultaneously. The neural enhancement was just one of many gifts humanity had reverse-engineered from previous alien encounters. Dr. Kira Patel, head of the Xenotechnology Division, stepped forward. Her dark hair was streaked with silver, evidence of decades spent unlocking the secrets of alien technology. "The nanites are performing beyond expectations, Colonel. They've already adapted to the Krylonian shield frequencies and are transmitting valuable tactical data back to our systems." The command center's main screen showed the Krylonian fleet struggling to maintain formation as their ship systems failed one by one. But Colonel Thorne knew better than to celebrate too early. Humanity had faced enough extraterrestrial threats to know that desperate enemies were the most dangerous. "Movement detected in the Kuiper Belt," announced Technical Director Gene Wei, his fingers dancing across the quantum interface. "The Krylonian fleet is regrouping. Energy signatures suggest they're charging weapons we haven't seen yet." Colonel Thorne's expression hardened. "They're not retreating. They're adapting." He opened a secure channel to Admiral Blackwood. "Ma'am, recommend initiating Protocol Omega." Admiral Blackwood's holographic form materialized in the command center. "Agreed, Colonel. You have authorization to deploy the Titans." A collective breath was held in the command center. The Titans were humanity's best-kept secret, massive mechanical warriors that combined terrestrial engineering with salvaged alien technology. Hidden in underground bases across the planet, they represented decades of preparation for this very moment. "Initiating Titan deployment sequence," Dr. Patel announced, her hands moving across the control interface. All 20 primary facilities responding. The Earth itself seemed to tremble as massive hangar doors opened in remote locations around the globe. From the Sahara Desert to the Amazon rainforest, from the Siberian tundra to the Australian outback, humanity's guardians emerged from their long slumber. Each Titan stood over 1,000 feet tall, their armor composed of metamaterials that could adapt to any form of energy weapon. Their power cores, reverse-engineered from a crashed Centaurian ship 50 years ago, pulsed with enough energy to level a city. Grand Admiral Nexus's voice boomed across all frequencies, a hint of desperation now evident in his tone. "You dare to challenge the might of the Krylonian Empire? We have conquered 32 star systems. We will not be defeated by a primitive species that barely understands interstellar travel." That's where you're wrong, Admiral Blackwood responded calmly. We understand more than you know. Every invasion attempt against Earth has failed not because we were lucky, but because each one made us stronger. We learned. We adapted. We prepared. The Titans launched skyward, their massive forms breaking through the atmosphere with impossible grace. The Krylonian fleet, still recovering from the Nanite attack, found themselves facing an entirely new threat. Multiple energy signatures detected from the enemy fleet, Technical Director Wei reported. They're launching some kind of quantum dissipation weapon. Colonel Thorne watched as the alien weapon's fire struck the lead Titan, and did absolutely nothing. Dr. Patel allowed herself a small smile. Quantum dissipation. We reversed that technology 30 years ago after the Proxima incursion. The Titan's shields are specifically designed to counter it. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. The Titans engaged the Krylonian ships in close combat, their advanced weapons systems tearing through the alien fleet's defenses. Each movement was a demonstration of how humanity had taken the best of alien technology and improved upon it, driven by the constant need to prepare for the next threat. Lieutenant Commander Vex's voice crackled across the command channel, thick with disbelief. How? How did you advance so quickly? This level of technology should have taken centuries to develop. Necessity, Colonel Thorne responded, watching as another Krylonian battleship fell to the Titan's onslaught. Your empire had the luxury of gradual expansion. We had to survive. Every war, every conflict, every alien encounter forced us to innovate or die. We chose to innovate. The Krylonian fleet's formation began to break. Ship after ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, retreating from Earth's defenses. But Grand Admiral Nexus's flagship, the Celestial Vanguard, remained. This isn't over, Nexus threatened. The Empire will return with forces that will overwhelm any defense you possess. Admiral Blackwood's response was measured but firm. Then we'll be ready. We always are. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons or our technology, it's our determination to survive. Come back if you must, Admiral. You'll find us even stronger next time. As the Celestial Vanguard finally retreated, Colonel Thorne turned to his team. Begin recovery operations. I want every piece of Krylonian technology collected and analyzed. We'll add their advancements to our own. Dar. Patel was already coordinating the collection teams. Their quantum phase shield technology could be integrated into our existing defense systems. We might be able to improve the Titan's response time by at least 30%. That's what they'll never understand, Technical Director Wei said quietly. Every attack makes us stronger. Every encounter teaches us something new. We're not just defending Earth, we're evolving. Colonel Thorne nodded, his cybernetic eye processing the battle data. Humanity had won this round, but he knew this was just the beginning. Somewhere out there, the next threat was waiting. And as always, Earth would be ready. Commander Rain Winters crouched in the shadows of Luna Base Alpha, Earth's secret military installation on the dark side of the moon. Through the reinforced viewing port, she watched the quantum radar display track the movements of the remaining Krylonian scout ships lurking at the edges of the solar system. Her augmented vision, a product of Project Evolution, could detect patterns invisible to normal human sight. They're not leaving, she transmitted to Earth Command. They're studying our defense patterns. The response came from General Victor Hawthorne, the gruff veteran who had overseen humanity's space defense program for the past 15 years. As expected. The Krylonians won't accept defeat easily. Initiate Phase 3. Rain smiled grimly. Phase 3 was what they had been preparing for since the first alien ship was captured in 1947. She turned to her second-in-command, Major Dante Rodriguez, whose neural implants were already interfacing with the base's quantum computers. Wake them up, she ordered. Deep beneath the lunar surface, rows of stasis pods began to power up. Inside each one lay a member of the Orbital Defense Force, soldiers whose bodies and minds had been enhanced with recovered alien technology, waiting for the moment Earth would need its ultimate defenders. Back on Earth, in the Mariana Trench facility, Dr. Omar Hassan supervised the activation of the Hydra network, a vast array of underwater quantum computers that controlled Earth's most sophisticated defense systems. The facility, built using technology reverse-engineered from a crashed Syrian vessel, was humanity's best-kept secret. Hydra Network Online, Dr. Hassan reported, his voice carrying through the secure quantum channels. Beginning full-spectrum analysis of Krylonian battle tactics. The massive computers hummed to life, processing data from the recent battle at unprecedented speeds. Every movement, every weapon signature, every communication frequency used by the Krylonian fleet was being analyzed and countered. In orbit around Jupiter, another secret was stirring. The seemingly innocent research stations scattered across the Galilean moons were transforming, revealing themselves as weapon platforms that had been disguised for decades. Captain Diana Chen watched from the command center on Europa as the stations reconfigured themselves. Jupiter defense grid activated, she reported. The Krylonians won't be able to use the gas giant's gravity for their next attack run. On the Celestial Vanguard, Grand Admiral Nexus received the reports with growing concern. His tactical officers had detected the activation of these new defense systems, but the readings made no sense. The level of technological advancement displayed by the humans was beyond anything their intelligence had suggested was possible. How did we miss this? He demanded, his crystalline eyes flashing with anger. How did they hide such capabilities from our deep space scans? Lieutenant Commander Vex biomechanical implants whirred as she processed the data. Sir, we're detecting quantum signatures we've never seen before. The humans, they've somehow combined technologies from multiple alien species into entirely new forms. Impossible. Nexus slammed his scaled fist onto the command console. No species could advance so quickly. On Earth, within the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Colonel Thorne and his team monitored the Krylonian communications. Dr. Patel's translation algorithms had already broken their encryption, another benefit of decades spent studying alien technology. They still don't understand, Dr. Patel observed, her hands moving across the holographic interface. They can't comprehend how we achieved this level of advancement. Because they've never had to, Technical Director Wei replied. The Krylonians expanded through overwhelming force. They never faced an enemy that forced them to truly innovate. The truth was, humanity's greatest advantage wasn't just the technology they'd acquired, it was their unique ability to understand, combine, and improve upon it. Every failed invasion, every captured ship, every piece of alien tech had been studied, dissected, and reimagined by human minds that had evolved to see possibilities where others saw only limitations. Commander Winter's voice came through from Luna Base Alpha, multiple quantum signatures detected. The Krylonian fleet is mobilizing. Looks like they're calling for reinforcements. Colonel Thorne exchanged glances with Admiral Blackwood's holographic form. Time to show them our real capabilities. The Admiral nodded. Activate the Lazarus Protocol. Throughout the solar system, humanity's most advanced weapons began to emerge from their hiding places. Artificial asteroids in the belt between Mars and Jupiter revealed themselves as automated defense platforms. The storms on Saturn's surface parted to expose massive energy collectors that had been gathering power for decades. But the true surprise lay in the quantum realm. Dar. Hassan's voice carried a note of satisfaction as he reported from the Mariana Trench, quantum displacement field generating. They're about to learn why no invasion force has ever successfully conquered Earth. The Hydra network began its work, its vast computational power reaching into the very fabric of spacetime. The technology, pieced together from a dozen different alien sources and enhanced by human innovation, could manipulate the quantum field itself. As the Krylonian reinforcements began arriving through their faster-than-light corridors, they found themselves facing not just Earth's conventional defenses, but the very laws of physics turned against them. Their quantum drives failed, their weapons misfired, and their communications dissolved into chaos. "This is impossible," Nexus whispered, watching his mighty armada fall into disarray. "What are they?" Admiral Blackwood's voice carried across all frequencies, a message not just to the Krylonians but to any other species watching from the darkness between the stars: "We are humanity. We turned our weaknesses into strengths. We transformed our divisions into diversity. We took our violent past and forged it into a shield for our future. And we are not your prey." The quantum storms generated by the Hydra network illuminated the solar system like artificial auroras, casting eerie lights across the surfaces of planets and moons. Within the Mariana Trench facility, Dr. Hassan watched as his life's work reshaped the battlefield. The quantum displacement field had exceeded even his most optimistic projections. But the Krylonians weren't finished. Despite their fleet's disarray, Grand Admiral Nexus had one final card to play. The Celestial Vanguard's main weapon, a devastating planet-killer beam that had ended civilizations across 32 star systems, began charging. Energy spike detected. Technical Director Wei's warning echoed through Earth's command networks. "They're preparing to fire their primary weapon." Colonel Thorne's cybernetic eye processed the incoming data streams. "Focus all Titan units on the Celestial Vanguard. We can't let that weapon discharge." But before the Titans could respond, a new voice joined the command channel. "No need, Colonel. We've got this." The calm, steady voice belonged to Professor Jade Nakamura, speaking from a facility hidden beneath Mount Fuji. Her team had spent decades studying energy weapons, particularly those used in previous alien invasion attempts. "Initiating Project Mirror," she announced. Across Earth's surface, seemingly innocent satellite dishes and radio telescopes realigned themselves. These weren't just communication devices, they were components of a planetary-scale energy reflection system, designed specifically for this type of threat. The Celestial Vanguard's weapon fired, a beam of concentrated energy that could shatter planets. But as it approached Earth, Professor Nakamura's system activated. The beam hit the reflection field and curved, its path distorted by precisely calibrated gravitational lenses. "Redirecting now," Professor Nakamura reported calmly, her fingers dancing across quantum-encoded controls. The planet-killer beam arced through space, its course altered by humanity's understanding of gravitational physics, and struck the Krylonian fleet's own support ships. From Luna Base Alpha, Commander Winters watched in satisfaction as 3 Krylonian dreadnoughts vanished in balls of plasma. Direct hit. Their own weapon just took out their heavy support. Grand Admiral Nexus's voice crackled across the communication channels, a mix of rage and disbelief in his tone. "What manner of deception is this? You were supposed to be primitive. Divided. Weak. That's your fundamental mistake," Admiral Blackwood responded. "You saw our surface conflicts and assumed we were primitive. You never considered that our struggles might make us stronger." On the quantum radar displays, more Krylonian ships were appearing, emerging from faster-than-light travel. But something was wrong with their formations. Their movements were erratic, their trajectories confused. Major Rodriguez's neural implants processed the sensor data. "They're lost," he reported from Luna Base. "The quantum displacement field is disrupting their navigation systems. They can't coordinate their attacks." In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Dr. Patel's eyes widened as she studied the tactical displays. "They're not just lost, they're afraid. Look at their formation patterns. They're defensive now, not offensive." She was right. The mighty Krylonian armada, which had conquered 32 star systems through overwhelming force, was now fighting like a cornered animal. Their tactical advantage was gone, their technological superiority neutralized, and their confidence shattered. From his command post in the Celestial Vanguard, Grand Admiral Nexus watched his invasion force crumble. Everything he thought he knew about warfare, about conquest, about the natural order of the galaxy, was being challenged by these supposedly primitive humans. How? He demanded. How did you advance so far without anyone noticing? The answer came from General Hawthorne, his gruff voice carrying years of military experience, because we never stopped preparing. Every conflict taught us something new. Every defeat made us stronger. Every victory made us more cautious. We learned from our own wars, and we learned from yours. As if to emphasize his point, the Titans engaged in a new attack pattern. Their movements were precise, coordinated, unlike anything the Krylonians had encountered before. Each Titan operated independently yet part of a greater whole, adapting their tactics in real time based on the enemy's responses. They're using our own battle formations against us, Lieutenant Commander Vex reported, her biomechanical implants struggling to track the complex maneuvers. But they've improved them. Made them more efficient, more unpredictable. The Krylonian fleet's remaining ships began to retreat, their faster-than-light drive straining against the quantum displacement field. Even their emergency protocols, designed for worst-case scenarios, were being countered by human innovations they couldn't understand. From the Mariana Trench facility, Dr. Hassan monitored the Hydra network's performance. The quantum field is stable. We can maintain this indefinitely. They can't escape unless we allow it. Colonel Thorne turned to Admiral Blackwood's holographic form. Your orders, ma'am. We could end the Krylonian threat here and now. Admiral Blackwood was silent for a moment, considering the implications. The Krylonian Empire had been a scourge across the galaxy, conquering and subjugating countless civilizations. But humanity had learned something their enemies hadn't. Sometimes the greatest victory comes not from destruction, but from understanding. Open a channel to the Celestial Vanguard, she commanded. It's time to show them there's another way. The Celestial Vanguard hung motionless in space, its once mighty fleet scattered and disabled around it. Within the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Admiral Blackwood's hologram faced the assembled Earth Defense leadership. Colonel Thorne, Dr. Patel, Technical Director Wei, and the others waited as she prepared to take an unprecedented step. Grand Admiral Nexus, she broadcast, her voice calm and measured. Your fleet is defeated, but destruction isn't our only option. We invite you to Earth's neutral ground station to discuss terms. The neutral ground station was another of humanity's secrets, a sprawling facility beneath the Antarctic ice, designed specifically for diplomatic encounters with alien species. As Nexus's shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere under heavy escort, the station's true nature was revealed. Commander Freya Lindstrom, the station's chief diplomat, watched through crystalline windows as the Krylonian delegation approached. Unlike the military facilities, this place was built to bridge gaps between species, not widen them. Welcome to Earth, she greeted them, her translator implant converting her words into perfect Krylonian. We have much to discuss. Grand Admiral Nexus entered the chamber, his crystalline eyes taking in the advanced technology seamlessly integrated with artistic beauty. The station itself was a testament to humanity's unique approach, combining function with understanding, power with purpose. You could have destroyed us, Nexus stated, his translator converting his complex harmonic speech. Why didn't you? Dr. Hassan, who had joined them from the Mariana Trench facility, stepped forward. Because that's not who we chose to become. Our history taught us that victory without understanding is meaningless. The delegation moved to a vast circular chamber where holographic displays showed Earth's journey. Images of human conflicts through history merged with recordings of alien encounters, each showing how humanity had grown, adapted, and learned. Professor Nakamura gestured to a particular display showing the quantum displacement field. We didn't just take alien technology and copy it. We studied it, understood it, and found ways to improve it that even its creators hadn't imagined. Our greatest strength isn't our weapons, it's our ability to learn and adapt. Lieutenant Commander Vex, who had accompanied Nexus, studied the displays with her biomechanical sensors. These improvements, they're beyond anything in the Empire's database. How did you achieve this level of innovation? Because we had to, General Hawthorne explained. Earth's nations spent centuries fighting each other, driving technology forward through necessity. When we discovered we weren't alone in the universe, we didn't stop innovating, we just found a new purpose for our drive to improve. Commander Winters, joining them from Luna Base, added, every alien encounter, whether peaceful or hostile, taught us something new. We learned to combine technologies in ways their original creators never considered because we weren't bound by traditional thinking. As the presentation continued, Nexus began to understand. The humans hadn't just prepared for invasion, they had created something entirely new. Their technology wasn't just a collection of weapons, it was a testament to their unique perspective on the universe. What are you proposing? Nexus asked, his tone carrying a new note of respect. Admiral Blackwood's hologram smiled. An alliance. The Krylonian Empire has conquered 32 star systems, but how many has it truly understood? We're offering you something more valuable than conquest, the chance to learn and grow together. Professor Nakamura activated another holographic display, showing potential collaborative projects. Your quantum phase shields combined with our adaptive materials could revolutionize space travel. Our understanding of gravity manipulation merged with your faster-than-light technology could open up new regions of space. And what would you want in return? Nexus asked, though he was beginning to see the answer. Partnership, Commander Lindstrom replied. The galaxy is vast and largely unknown. Instead of fighting each other, we could explore it together. Your experience combined with our innovation could benefit both our species. The chamber fell silent as Nexus considered the proposal. The Empire had never considered such an arrangement, their philosophy had always been about dominance, not cooperation. But these humans had demonstrated something extraordinary, there was strength in understanding, power in adaptation, and wisdom in choosing collaboration over conflict. The Empire has never had an equal alliance, he said finally. Then perhaps it's time for the Empire to evolve, Admiral Blackwood suggested. Just as we did. As the negotiations proceeded, Earth's defense leaders knew this was more than just a diplomatic victory. They had proven that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their defenses, it was their ability to transform enemies into allies through understanding and innovation. In orbit, the Titans stood down, their massive forms returning to their hidden bases. The quantum displacement field dissipated, allowing the damaged Krylonian ships to begin repairs. But something had fundamentally changed in the galaxy's power structure. Earth was no longer just another world to be conquered. It had become something unprecedented, a planet where the scars of conflict had forged not just powerful weapons, but wisdom. A world that had taken the best of both human ingenuity and alien advancement to create something greater than either could achieve alone. As the sun set on the first day of negotiations, Admiral Blackwood's hologram looked out over the Antarctic landscape. Today marks a new chapter, she said. Not just for Earth or the Krylonian Empire, but for all species who seek to understand rather than dominate, to learn rather than conquer. The message would spread across the galaxy, Earth was not a prize to be won or a planet to be conquered. It was a crucible where the fires of conflict had forged something entirely new, a civilization that had mastered the art of turning enemies into allies, and challenges into opportunities for growth. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter that night, as if acknowledging that the universe had changed. Humanity had proven that true power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to transform conflict into cooperation, and fear into understanding.